Well, thank you everyone for being on the call. We're gonna cover a lot of information in a short period of time. I'm a big fan of providing value and action plans so we actually can implement some of the things you learn. And granted, we only have an hour here today, but the whole goal behind this is to share some of the resources. We're going to share the entire PowerPoint presentation, several PDFs that you'll be able to follow step by step and actually implement some of these ideas. So first thing I'd like for you to do, the title for today is a social media plan of action for brokers, which essentially is building organizational value using low-cost methods, or most cases, not spending any money at all. Especially with our budgets and the way they are right now, it's a matter of kind of not necessarily cutting back, but how do we cut back and we increase the value that we're providing. Thanks for being on the call. We're going to keep going here. So as far as providing value and kind of learning some of the technology that's available, one thing I would encourage you to write down is make mistakes, and make mistakes often, because that's the only way you're going to learn how to use some of these websites that are out there. It's really a matter of clicking on just about every option that you can see, and figuring out what that means and so forth. And at least today, you'll be able to be aware of what some of the options are. And then really, as far as the implementation goes, the only way you're going to learn is to make mistakes. So kind of come with a child's mindset, because children, the reason why they're so good at technology is because they're not afraid of making mistakes. What's included in a broker social media plan of action, this is really kind of set for any small business, but all of our examples are specific to real estate brokers as far as what steps can they take one by one to incorporate social media as part of their online marketing strategy. So, first we'll talk about the budget, creating different accounts. RSS is kind of a new term for a lot of people, and it's kind of the new way of distributing information. Where you see where it says integrate feeds, that's where RSS and the power of RSS will save you both the publisher of your information, your content, your expertise on real estate, publishing your information to where a lot of different people receive it in a lot of different channels. So that's what RSS, integrate feeds, means for RSS. And then in addition to that, our best time is spent in front of consumers who can say yes to our product. I think most people get caught up in the day-to-day activities of managing social media profiles and uploading content. Some of these responsibilities with social media can be delegated to those individuals who maybe you can pay at a fraction of what your clients pay you. So as far as delegating, that's going to be important. And in addition to that, tracking the performance to see what's working and what's not, and then how do you then adjust those channels? Do we increase marketing? Do we need to filter into other different channels? There's a lot of different opportunities to track what's going on kind of behind the scenes to see what's working. And then finally, the broker manual policy really is kind of geared towards, should we allow our agents to participate in social networks? What are some of the risks that are out there? And then how do we clearly identify how they are going to participate? Because essentially social media is a form of marketing, communication, and advertising. With that, if every agent has a social media profile, how do we then, not necessarily regulate, but kind of supervise or play big brother to say, this is something you can and cannot do. And there's a whole system that's set behind that. So first things first is taking a look at the budget. How much is social media going to cost me, or essentially some of the ideas behind social media, what's the relative cost? And essentially, the biggest cost that's going to be on here is the time that it takes to either, number one, learn, or then number two, delegate. In addition to that, whatever the cost is, there's the individual items that I'm going to share with you aren't going to break your bank when relatively to some of the traditional costs of newspaper, magazines. We're going to show you how you can kind of maybe take some of those line items on your budget and then move it over to a new way that will increase your position in your market. So as far as the budget goes, here are some different items, or at least recommended items. And when you take a look at this, just know that I don't have any affiliation with any of these companies. These are just products that I have used myself and have paid off big dividends. So, the first one is Snagit. We have Camtasia, a Fujitsu ScanSnap, which is kind of like a portable scanner, eFax, self-hosted WordPress blog. We're going to cover every one of these in details and also provide you the URL or website. And if you don't have time to write every single one of these down, we're going to share the entire PowerPoint presentation with you. So first line item is called Snagit. So if you go to www.techsmith.com, that's techsmith.com, essentially this can now become your photo editing software. Essentially, for what I'm doing for advertising or marketing pictures and so forth on my website, I'm using Microsoft Word and Snagit to create pictures. And $50 relative to the cost isn't a very big item. And then in addition to that, as far as putting pictures on your website or blog or any other form of social media, producing videos is something that people are really taking a like to, because people can see and hear as opposed to just seeing words onto a page. So with videos, using the program called Camtasia, it's about a $300 program that complements Snagit, same company at TechSmith, www.techsmith.com. Camtasia essentially allows you to produce video-based tutorials or learning. Well, as far as what types of videos, tutorials can you create for your blog or your website, perhaps they're videos on how to fill out a listing agreement. Maybe you have videos that you produce that show you how to use your website. So essentially, Camtasia acts as a video production, editing, and publishing software that essentially captures videos that you produce from your screen that you can share with the world. And as far as sharing videos, some good websites are www.tubemogul.com. That's TUBEMOGUL.com. That website syndicates videos to about probably 20 different video hosting sites, and it's all free. Many people are familiar with YouTube, www.youtube.com, YOUTUBE. That again is a free service that you can upload and share some of these videos that you produced from the Camtasia software. Another item that I highly recommend is a portable scanner that allows you to essentially scan any paper documents, file them into folders on your computer. That way you can then distribute your documents electronically. I've found this, at $400. I own one, but probably more importantly is it comes with this software called Adobe Acrobat Standard. It's the standard program that Adobe uses to create PDF documents. And when you're creating PDF documents, there's several different types of PDFs that essentially, take your important files. Well, as far as an agent, what are some of the important files that you may want to protect? Maybe you have your listing contract. You want to protect that with a password. Maybe you have your buyer's agency agreement. You want to protect that with the password. Maybe you have somebody's HUD statement. You want to protect that with a password. Adobe Acrobat has not just a password feature, but several different others. And then what I did recently, you see down here at the bottom where it says buy US $299. It actually comes free with that Fujitsu ScanSnap product. But what I did is I invested another $230 in what's called Adobe Acrobat Pro Extended. Adobe Acrobat Pro Extended. Now what this allows me to do is embed audio into my PDFs, video into my PDFs, and allows me to create electronic forms that people can fill out, and it filters right into a database. So Adobe has some powerful applications with it, but again, as far as the cost, it's just a one-time thing. Here is a big paradigm shift for a lot of small businesses, especially when it comes to real estate. Obviously, a website, having a web presence is extremely important, but as far as the paradigm shift between going from a traditional website, which is just static, words on a page, going to what I call a self-hosted WordPress blog.